Hey everyone, and welcome to the Digging into Local Businesses series. Today's interview is with Wes Garland from Wes The Barber Shop, and he is also a contractor, sole proprietor under the name Wesley the Barber. Hope you enjoy it.
Hi, everyone. This is Rob Phelan from Catoctin High School. I'm here with Wes Garland, barber, and works at Wassler's Barbershop in Frederick, Maryland. Wes, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. Wes, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? So we are high school seniors in a personal finance class, looking to learn a little bit more about businesses and that sort of thing. So I kind of want to learn about you a little bit from that lens.
Yeah, I'm 29. I'm a independent contractor at a Wassler's Barbershop, married with a kid and another one on the way.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
You said you're a contractor. What's that?
It's like a sole proprietor type thing. I do my own taxes, and I'm a 1099 instead of a W-2. A lot more freedom and independence as opposed to a regular job, I guess.
Yeah, so you're not like an employee of Wasser's Barbershop. You are somebody that is contracted to come in and provide a service under their name, or
Yeah.
what is it that Wasser's provides to you?
The rent, the building, and the chair, pretty much.
Okay, and then you're paying rent for that.
Yes,
Okay,
it's commission based rent. So instead of having a flat fee of 200 a week or whatever, it's a percentage of each haircut.
okay, awesome. So how did you get started as a barber?
When I started cutting hair since high school, just doing my own hair and doing friends' hair, but never really thought of it as a profession or just a hobby. But then when I met my wife, she was working for Paul Mitchell and she was getting ready to buy her first house. And I figured, well, I guess there's money to be made if you're going out buying houses and this and that. So I decided to pursue that.
Very cool. So you said you started in high school. Like, was this like just interest you had, and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna start cutting hair, and then friends started realizing, oh, you cut hair, will you cut my hair, sort of thing, or did you kind of run it like a business where you're saying, I'm doing this, who wants it, here's my prices, that sort of thing?
Oh no, it's very just I was tired of going to a hair cuttery or wherever and having them mess up my hair. So I was like, if they're going to pay them to mess it up, I might as well just do it myself.
It's
And
good.
then just doing family and friends.
Good way of looking at it. Did you do any sort of like research on how to cut hair, or was it more like a trial and error sort of thing?
Trial and error. YouTube wasn't too prominent at the time. There wasn't as many resources as there are today.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So if someone wants to become a barber now, like, is there a qualification you have to have, or is it a case of like, yeah, you can just self-teach and your skills talk for themselves?
Oh yeah, you need a barber license in every state except for Alabama.
Oh,
So if you're in Alabama, you can just open up a shop and have at it. But each state's different. There are different laws and stuff. In Maryland, you need 1,200 hours of schooling to become a barber.
wow. So like going to school for 1,200 hours, or like studying under a like qualified barber?
Oh, you can do apprenticeship program, or you can go to school. The apprenticeship program's 2 years. The issue with the apprenticeship program, I found though, is if you and the person you're apprenticing under have like a falling out or anything, they can just say, "Oh, he was never here, X, Y, and Z." So it seemed a little more stable to go to school. But finding an accredited barber school in Maryland was more difficult than I thought it would be.
All right. So tell me about that. Like, where did you end up going? How many schools are there? Is it hard to get into? Is it expensive? That sort of thing.
Oh, it's not hard to get into at all. So if you qualify for the loans, they'll let you in.
Okay.
But I was living in Baltimore at the time, and there's a school out there, Vera, and I figured I'd go to that one. The guy that owns that one, he used to be anyway, the head of the barber board, and also figured out that'd be a good school to go to. Then looking into it, they weren't accredited, so you'd have to pay per month to go there, and it'd be $600 a month if you wanted to get done within a year. But then I found a ward in Hagerstown, and they have a whole conglomerate of schools. There's probably like five or six of them, I think, around Maryland. And they were accredited, but they're all the way up in Hagerstown. So I had to move in with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, to make the travel.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other side of the state pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. So switching over now to like the barbershop itself. As a business, how did you guys set prices, or how was that determined? So I know this is probably like not something that you necessarily get to pick yourself, but like, do you have any idea how that process went?
Think the current Wasslers, it's a very like old school mentality. So I think just, oh, we've had this price for X number of years, time to bump it up some, and this and that. But I take more of an analytical approach to it, and in the future, I'm going to go based off of the average income of the area, population density, and stuff like that. And I think the average haircut for a man in America is $28, and
Wow.
and we charge 20. But at in Frederick, the average income is almost 70,000. But nationwide, average income is like 35, 32 grand. So it's double the income, but like 40% less price. So I
Interesting.
try to make up that disparity, but can't skyrocket all at once. You're going to lose a lot of business.
True, true. Do you find that having the lower base price means that people are willing to tip more?
No, I was surprised because I thought, because the old shop I worked at is $21 a haircut, and but people seem like they tip a lot more on average there as opposed to where I'm currently. But it
Okay.
seems like with the $20 haircut, it's easier to do the 20% to $4 or whatever, as opposed to just throwing a 5 or a 10 or whatever.
Okay, so like the way you set your price, like if it's easy to round it up to like a multiple of 5 or the nearest whole number or multiple of 10, that like people are more likely to do that.
Yeah, it seems like the percentage of tips, like it seems person to person though. I thought it's going to be more of a whole thing, that if it ends with a 0, put a 5 or another 0 or this and that on it, but it's not. But I think it goes off per person, and then the service itself as well.
Okay. So let's see. When you decided to go work for a shop, so you're in Wes Barber shop at the moment, why did you decide to do that versus go out on your own?
When I was looking at barbershops to start my own, I wanted to be in a shopping center, and the rent's a lot more expensive than downtown. That's why there's so many shops downtown as opposed to shopping centers. And just the mass of the size of the shops and the shopping centers are a lot more than I needed. Everything seems to be over 1,500 square feet in a shopping center. I only need like half that, if that. And then triple net is another thing I wasn't aware of when I was looking at space. It's the advertiser price for, let's say, this shopping center off of 40 is $18 a square foot. It's like, cool, I can afford that. I did the math. Sounds good. Then they get in there, then there's sidewalks, trash, this and that they count as triple net. And then that's $6 more a square foot. So the price just went up 30%. And it went from 18 to 24. Like, I wish that they would just come out and say, hey, this is the all included price, as opposed to the get you in the door price.
I mean, I'm originally from Ireland, so like when we go to a store, like the tax for an item is actually like in the price that's labeled on the shelf. And
Yeah.
I came here, I'm like, what? Why is it more expensive when I get to the register? Yeah, just like tell me what the price is. That's all I want to know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I can get that. So there's some hidden costs involved in being in an individual like shopping center or something like that versus being in a shop front like Wassler's.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of risk, is it less risk as well to be a part of something like Wassler's versus having your own shop, or is it a little more risky in terms of how much money you can make or that sort of thing?
It's definitely more risky, but it's a risk reward type scenario. Like
Mhm.
the current climate, the way it is now, I'm definitely glad that I'm just an independent contractor, and the building and lease all isn't in my name. So, but yeah, if you're doing like commission or booth rent, there you can make a lot more money as opposed to just being a contractor.
Okay, so I mean that brings us to the next point. Like this is a tough time for businesses, and we're seeing a lot of businesses either shutting down, going under, changing what they're doing. Like, how has the current situation affected you?
Oh yeah, just the government completely shut us down. So, and the house board in the house currently. But
So,
just
so no
sorry.
haircuts happening.
No, I've had a bunch of people ask, and I've learned people are willing to pay a lot more for a haircut than the prices indicate.
Yeah, my wife was actually she took a stab at it. She
Nice.
learned she watched a couple of YouTube videos and like tidied up what I had done. But yeah, I'm definitely missing that the haircut service that I know it's gonna look okay afterwards, especially when I'm spending so much time on camera these days.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess good thing for you is that if you are doing a commission base, like you're not paying rent every month, you're not losing money at the moment on your business side. Obviously, you still have your own personal expenses, but has income completely dried up then?
Yeah, yeah, completely. So, but luckily they're passing a bill for independent contractors to go on unemployment, and it'll be backdated to whenever you stopped working. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another risk from going from W-2 to 1099 is if I was W-2, I would have already had unemployment and just checks would have been coming in as opposed to having to wait and hope for the bill to be passed.
Yeah. So for any of you guys who don't know the difference, a W-2 is an income statement that you would get if you work as an employee under an employer, and a 1099 is if you're a private contractor. So essentially, you are your own business and you are hiring your services out to somebody else. So you're not getting any benefits, or you're not considered to be an employee of that company. So in the case of the current situation, if you were an employee, your employer could apply for essentially they are loans from the government that would allow them to pay you for the next 2.5 months. If they do use the money appropriately, so they do use it for payroll, the loans are forgiven and it essentially becomes a grant for the company. So it's trying to keep the economy stimulated by keeping people paid. If you are a private contractor, so Wes is an example, I'm also an example for one of the jobs I do, we have to apply ourselves for this particular scheme to get paid, and it's going to take a little bit longer. So yeah, it's a different process, but if you are a private contractor, you can get some sort of unemployment benefits, which wasn't usually the case. All right, so that brings us up, like what's the best part of your job and your situation and how you set yourself up?
I think it's not. I don't look at it as like a job or work. I think it's more of like a lifestyle. So it doesn't really feel like, oh, I got a 9 to 5, this and that. Like I enjoyed the time I've been home, but also can't wait to get back to the shop. I don't know if many people can say that.
No, it's definitely something that not a lot of people get to say. They genuinely enjoy what they do, and they like going to work, and it doesn't feel like the words are the golden handcuffs that you have to go, because if you don't go, your life is going to fall apart. You won't be able to afford the things you have, or you won't be able to keep the lights on, that sort of thing. So yeah, if you feel like you are motivated to go to work and enjoy it, that's got to be a great feeling. That's
Yeah, if
wonderful.
you're passionate, you'll definitely work harder as opposed to just going through and waiting for the clock to hit 5.
Yeah, for sure. So now, as we think about, like, you've got the skill set, you've got a business mind, but business is shut down from external forces. You're not in control of that. So most businesses are having to think about, how do I pivot? How do I change focus, change tactics to allow me to either stay open or just keep bringing some sort of income in, even with the current challenges and restrictions on. So we see like local restaurants are doing curbside pickup, takeaway when they've never done it before. We're seeing businesses moving online a lot. Teaching, as example, like has gone completely remote learning. What are some things that you're thinking of in terms of like how can a barber like pivot in a time like this?
Yeah, I'm thinking of updating the point of sale system that we have. Right now, it's just a basic cash register, just like a 5-year-old would have, more or less, and going to more of an online base, and then allowing like gift cards and stuff to be bought offline and digital, and then also products and everything. Just moving from having the in-store brick and mortar, then also having a bigger web presence as well.
Okay, so a couple of different things there. So you don't currently offer the ability to do gift cards. So that tactic of supporting your local business by buying gift cards doesn't really work right now for you guys. And then what you were saying, like doing t-shirts stuff, so like diversifying the types of things that you guys can offer.
Yeah,
Cool.
just because a lot of times, like especially now, it's not really. I don't want to say like taking advantage of people of the situation, but also recognizing that people are a lot more willing to support small local businesses. So I feel as though at this time, as much products as you can have to offer, they'll be consumed more.
Yeah, and I don't think it's selfish. I think people like myself included, like I'm looking at the businesses in Frederick and I'm like, I don't want them to disappear because I really like having them being a part of, my daily life in Frederick. So I want to support them in any way I can. But yeah, like how can we help you? Like what's the biggest challenge you're facing? And then maybe students can start providing some sort of solution for you.
Yeah, I think just like I can only cut so many heads a day. I probably 25 on working a comfortable shift, and right now it's $20 a haircut, so that's about $500 a day and just which sounds good, but if you're trying to be Warren Buffett or something, it's going to take you a long time to get there.
True. So I guess you're looking for, how do you scale your business? How do you, and this is something that a lot of private contractors feel like, I've got a skill, I can do my skill really well. Yes, you can increase the price, but there comes a point where the price just can't go any higher, or in your case, you're restricted by the shop that you're in, and you only have a limited number of hours in the day. Like, you could work, the limit you can work is 24 hours a day. After that, like, there's nothing left, and nobody wants to do that, because you got to sleep, you got to eat, you got to do all the other things. So how do you grow a barber business like this? And you mentioned maybe like diversifying into things like t-shirts and stuff like that, but okay, challenge for students. How do you grow a business like Wes's? Like, how do you increase the amount of income he's able to bring in? So we're looking for creative ideas in terms of, what could he do with haircuts? What could he do with diversified stuff? So are there other things you think that could be sold that would bring in income? So diversify income streams. We're looking for ideas here. Is there any other kind of conditions or stipulations you want to put on that?
Oh, no, just whoever has the best idea. And I got a gift card for a free haircut.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, Wes, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good one.
If you have more suggestions for Wesley or ideas on how he can grow his business, feel free to reach out to him. You can email him at wesleythebarber@gmail.com.